Hey guys, so I just wanted to come on here and tell you guys a little bit about my journey with course careers. Get into it. So first off, I want to give a shout out to the entire Course Careers team, Trent Dressel, just everybody overall who made it possible for us to have access to a really phenomenal training platform and also given us hopes, right, of breaking into tech. So this is my story, this is my personal journey, and I just wanted to share it with you guys today. And I have my phone because I don't want to mess up. I have a few notes really. So I want to talk about how I found out about course careers. So I found out about course careers through the Table with AO, which is a podcast, and he was just basically detailing just how many people have graduated from course careers and how they were able to change their financial future in regards to stability and how there were just so many jobs. So prior to listening to his podcast, I had never heard anything about course careers. I had no idea what it was. But just listening to the stories, I think that particular episode he had on, a couple that was husband and wife, and I think one of them joined and the other one joined, and it just completely changed their life. And they were saying that they made six figures after that. So the next person was actually somebody who did dog walking, right? And so I'm thinking in my head, like, wait a minute, you go from a couple who has absolutely no knowledge in tech to now going to somebody who's walking dogs full time, graduates, and is now making six figures. There has to be something to this. So I go onto my laptop and I'm like, wow, this is really true. So I used his affiliate link, which at the time really, really helped me out, guys. Like I'm telling you, like I was so poor, like I was po. I didn't have any money to put towards this, but I think he had like a link in his bio and that really, really helped me out in terms of financially making it accessible. So I gathered up the little bit of money that I had and I immediately signed. There was no questions asked. I was like, you know what, this is for me. My dream has also been, to break into tech because I am very technically inclined, and I didn't realize that since like until after the pandemic. But as time went on, I just was very inclined technically. So, anyhow, getting back to the story. So, as I'm watching these people talk about their stories, I'm realizing just how much. Financial stability keeps coming into the conversation, like how many different streams of income they have because of course careers. So now I'm like, okay, so I sign up, and y'all, if you are not ready mentally, you must get ready. I see people that are graduating in 2 weeks. I see people that are graduating in 2 months or a month, 30 days. I was not one of those people. It took me 5 months to complete the course, okay? And even after I completed the course, I failed my practice test initially, but then I went back and studied and I passed my final. And so I just want to tell you guys, like, it's a lot of information and it's thrown at you all at once. Be mentally prepared, okay? That is one of the biggest pieces of advice that I could give to anybody who is getting ready to go down this tech journey. Like, you have to be mentally prepared for what you're asking for. If you're asking God, like, listen, I have this request from you, you're asking, to have this stability and to be able to change your life, like you have to set your mind, you have to have a mindset first and foremost that you are going to be open to receiving this information because it's a lot of information, and you have to think to yourself, like, I've never seen this before, this is my very first time. So also give yourself grace. Those are the two biggest takeaways and advice that I can give. Now at the time when I signed up, my son was actually sick and I was at the hospital. I was in really bad critical shape financially, and this was like a godsend. Like I felt like God was telling me something like, girl, just put this money up as faith. So I took my last, I believe it was my last $100, and I prayed over it and I said, God, this is the last money I have right now. You know, my son has sickle cell, so it was a pretty dark time for me. I was in the hospital, and I said, God, with this, I'm sowing a seed into my future, but I'm sowing a seed with you as a partner. I am asking you to multiply. I'm asking you to multiply this blessing. And guys, when I said that prayer, you have to imagine how I felt and what was going on in the room. My son was laying in a hospital bed recovering from RSV. He was on different machines. He had a respirator. He had tubes going through his nose. He was in really bad critical condition. If any of you guys know about sickle cell, then you know that if you get something like COVID or RSV or just anything in general, that it's very, very extreme. And so that's what I was going through. And I was sitting in that hospital by myself with my other son, who at the time was 7. And I just surrendered. I just surrendered. And if this part of my story resonates with you and you're at your last dollar and you're contemplating and you're trying to figure out, God, is this what you would have for me? If this where you would want me to go, listen, hold up that $100 and pray and say, God, listen, this is all I have, but I'm sowing a seed into my future, to my kids' future, and partner with me on this and help me to be successful. And God will honor that seed, and He will, but you have to have your mindset firm because after I paid that $100, it did not get any easier. It was go time. So I quickly paid. Then I got access to the course. It was pretty easy to understand for the most part. I finished like the first maybe 3 sections, like within a month and a half or so, but like I was in the hospital for about 4 weeks at a time. Um, while my son was recovering, and I was just in the hospital just getting it done, just doing whatever I needed to do, because at that time all I could think of was like, this is my way out. Like, this is something that I've invested in. Like, I have to switch my mindset. And again, you will have to switch your mindset. You are going to have to start thinking of yourself as now being somebody who's in tech. Like, your mindset has to be in tech. Everything about you has to move that way. You have to start understanding the world differently than you did before. Um, and so I got to like the midpoint of the course, and I came to a standstill because it's like I I got to a certain place where I was a little overwhelmed, and I needed time to process the information and to really get a good grasp for it. So once I got to the middle part of the course, I took like a month break, and then I just kept going on LinkedIn and working on the back end of the course. So what I did was I started, and then I got through about midway. Then I took a break in between and went to the end of the course where it talks about your LinkedIn profile. So I went in and did that part immediately. Like, as soon as I finished, like almost about half, I went and redid my LinkedIn course. I'm sorry, my LinkedIn profile. That is going to be one of the biggest things that you guys want to do. Y'all want to go on LinkedIn and immediately, even if you just start, like, change your profile, go to that section of the course where it says LinkedIn profile, and listen to everything they tell you guys. Every piece of information that is given in this course, they are dropping jewels. Let me tell you, because as soon as I changed my profile, I was able to quickly get to 500 connections plus. And so right now I'm over 500 connections. And all of that is very essential. I was able to rewrite my LinkedIn profile to where employers are now finding me intriguing. They're coming into my inbox, they're asking me questions. And so all of the things that is outlined in Course Careers is extremely important. And that was one of the biggest game changers that I can say that I did during the time that I was at Course Careers. Um, So I went in, fixed my LinkedIn profile, cleaned it up, took a professional photo for my LinkedIn profile as well. Now, another thing you want to be mindful of, I know we all have social media, but please make sure that you guys clean up your entire profile. You are going to be putting yourself on another level, on another pay scale. You are going to be setting yourself up to now make six figures and beyond. And you want your representation online to match every single thing, okay, that you're involved in, and how you want to live. So you might not be living a certain way right now. You might not be making six figures. Shoot, you might not be making 30K or even 20K, or you might not have any income, but you have to think like ahead. Think of yourself as who you're going to be in the next 5 years and work backwards, right? So that's the importance of setting all of your social media profiles. And if you don't want to delete it and it just is a mess and you just want to keep your friends who they are and everything, I would recommend just making it private, because these employers will go on and they are going to be searching you, and you don't want anything crazy popping up. You don't want them to see you in a negative light. So that's another suggestion as well. So as I went along, after my little, hiatus or my little break, I kind of got back into my mindset like, okay, I got to finish this course. So I went back in to the second portion of the course. It was again pretty easy, but it's just really like getting that information to stick in your mind. And I think one of the hardest things for me was like that mind shift, like switching over and really understanding what it is that they're talking about, what it is that I'm pursuing, like what each section, like, okay, during this part I want you guys to look at the whole picture, as opposed to just like looking at the course and trying to rush through it like I need to know this information. Understand the full picture of what it is that you're trying to pursue, whichever course you selected on Course Careers website. I want you guys to just picture like the entire picture. So for me, I chose SDR. So what I ended up doing was going on YouTube and searching SDR, a day in the life, Googling what is a SDR, what do they do, how do they function, getting as much information about that role as possible on my own outside of Course Careers. And what that did was it helped me to understand what type of position I was pursuing and how to go about it, who I was basically becoming, right? Because this journey, it's about becoming who you want to become and transitioning into the best version of you, right? So how can you do that if you really and truly don't understand what you're actually going to school for? You're just like, okay, I want to put hashtag Black in Tech on my profile. I want to put tech, woman in tech, or I want to just be a part of this movement and I'm rushing through. No, you need to understand what it is you're actually signing up for. Like, who am I becoming? What is this actually? What does this role look like on a day to day? And that's what really helped me to understand all the terms, all that terminology that was being thrown at me. That's what really helped me to understand it. Just looking up a day in the life on YouTube, and Googling the different terms, and Googling just understanding the full scope of what an SDR does and what a sales rep does in tech, right? Um, so that's kind of what happened on the second try. Now, I will say I did get frustrated. I did get frustrated when it came towards the end. So I failed my first practice test, which was a bummer. I was like upset. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get this right. It was more challenging than I anticipated. Um, but take the test. I think they allow you to take it 2 times before you, like the third time you'll have to pay or something. So the first time when I failed, I went back and I studied those questions and answers. Like I was up studying, I printed them out, I was looking at the paper. I was like really into this, because at this point, I'm on LinkedIn actively watching people like, oh, I just broke into tech. I just broke into tech. So now I'm like, okay, sis, we are taking a little bit too long We are taking a little bit too long. Like, let's go. Let's finish strong. And so I went back in and just studied as hard as I could at that point. I was like flipping that course inside out, going back through my answers. I mean, just trying to really understand what my role would be. And so I went back, I took the practice test again, and I passed. And I was like, oh, thank God. Okay, now I can finally get to the final. So, the tea about the final. The final is a lot more difficult than I would have liked it to be, but I understand why it was that difficult. Um, I know that it's that way because they're trying to get you to understand the information and they want you to be able to be successful once you step into that arena. Like their name is is involved in all of this. Like Course Careers knows, like, listen, if these people are going to be wearing our name, if they're going to be saying that they're graduating from here, I want to make sure that they really understand the information. So I can actually appreciate the fact that it was a little harder than I anticipated. Um, I didn't pass with like a 90 or anything like that. I just got like an average score. But I was happy to pass because look here, it was like 6 months and I'm watching everybody like, oh, I graduated from course careers and they just started. And I'm like, bro, what is wrong with me? Like, why couldn't that be me? But everybody has their own journey, everybody has their own way about things. And just, I have such a gratitude for the entire journey from start to finish because I feel like, even aside from graduating the course, like, I feel like I've grown as a person. Like, it gave me something that I accomplished. Like I feel very accomplished. I feel very proud of myself that I started something and I finished it. Now, let's get to the part where after you graduate. So, because I'm seeing so much about course careers and like because I'm seeing like how people are just like getting jobs left and right and everything, I anticipated to be able to put my resume up there and I was like, baby, when I do that, I am going to have all these people banging my door down. Like, I have all of these additional assets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am going to have, all of these job offers. No, no, that is not the case. You will have to put the work in. Let me tell you, to date, I have applied for over 200 jobs and I have only gotten like 5 callbacks. And that is not to scare you guys, it's just to let you know that it's the same process like when you are actually in the role. Like it's getting me prepared for sales. It's getting me prepared for dealing with rejection. It's getting me prepared for making 100+ phone calls. Like I am really starting to embody the lifestyle of sales and understanding each and every part of this journey. Like, it's really starting to click. And I think that's so important. Like, I don't want to come on here and act like there was a magic wand. Like, no, there is grit involved, there's studying involved, there's persistence involved, there is determination involved, and all of these things that you put forth and you don't quit, you're going to be successful. I landed my first SDR interview and it went great. And I'm super excited about this as a whole. And I'm just super grateful. Like, I have a posture of gratitude just overall. Um, it's just now starting to get good for me personally. And it's been over the 6 month mark, but that's okay. Listen, that's okay. It doesn't matter like how long it takes you. I just want to let y'all know that. Like it doesn't, well, it's not actually over 6 months. I have to go in. It feel like 6 months. Can I just say that? It feel like 6 months. I'm gonna be honest, it feel like 6 months. But listen, if y'all don't have a support system or anything, you have to put that work in. You have to put that work in. You have to put that work in. That's the best advice also that I can give for like the latter end. You're gonna have to fill out tons of applications. You're gonna have to keep um redoing. Like, if you notice that something is not working for you, don't be afraid to change it. Make sure that you put those keywords on LinkedIn as well, the correct keywords. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go and do a quick YouTube search about keywords on LinkedIn, and it'll give you detailed information. That's also something that I needed to learn as well. And listen, another tactic that I use whenever I do see someone who is advancing, I am applauding for you. Like, I am so happy because I am viewing myself through your eyes, and I know that I am going to be just as successful, right? And so what I'm doing is I will go and I will follow the company, because now I know this company is definitely hiring. Like, they just hired this person. They may be looking for other candidates, and I'm available. So let me go on over here, follow, and then go through their openings and see, is there any SDR openings? This is something that I've started practicing, and I've actually began to see results. So I want to encourage you guys today. I don't want to make this video too long. I want to encourage you. Yes, Course Careers is a great opportunity for anybody looking to change their life, or anybody looking to advance into the tech space. And I think that this is a wonderful opportunity. And I believe that, you know, if you just keep pushing forward and you continue on your journey and you get as much knowledge as possible about whatever it is that you're trying to pursue in tech, I think that you will most definitely be successful. Um, I also want to mention that on LinkedIn, there is a tremendous support group with the alumni from Course Careers, and I'm super grateful about that too, because we encourage each other, and I think that's super important to mention. So not only are you getting a great platform where you're learning the latest trends and the latest tactics and the latest technology in regards to tech, but you're also getting a community. You're gaining a community of people that actually care about you and care about your success as well. And you're also gaining access to your future self, like whoever it is, whatever it is that you've dreamed of becoming. I think this is definitely a great stepping stone to get there. And I would absolutely recommend anybody who is trying to go into tech to consider Course Careers. And I've went ahead and placed the link down below if you guys want to take advantage of my affiliate link. I know that during this time, when I was looking to break into tech and I was just looking for an opportunity, that discount code really, really did help. So I'm going to place the discount code below. If this is your last, like I said, hold that money up and say, listen, I am partnering with God. I'm partnering with myself. I am going to take this money and I'm going to sow a seed into my life that is going to change the rest of my life. And y'all, just do it. Just do it. It's so worth it, and I totally recommend it. So that was my review on Course Careers, and I hope you guys enjoyed.